Michel de Nostradam, better known as Nostradamus, remains an enigma centuries after his death. Born in 1503 in France, he was a man of many talents. Nostradamus trained as a physician and apothecary, but it was his book Les Prophéties that propelled him to fame. Published in 1555, it contains over 900 quatrains. These quatrains, Nostradamus claimed, held predictions of future events. His prophecies captivated imaginations across Europe. Often ambiguous, his writings became a source of fascination and fear. Some dismissed him as a charlatan, others hailed him as a true seer. The enduring appeal of Nostradamus lies in the nature of his prophecies. His quatrains resemble intricate puzzles waiting to be deciphered. This ambiguity has allowed generations to find relevance in his words. From the death of kings to natural disasters, his prophecies have been cited as foretelling events. However, the lack of clarity has fueled skepticism and debate. Critics argue that his prophecies are too vague to be genuine predictions. They point to the tendency of interpreters to retrofit his words to events after they have occurred. The debate over Nostradamus' prophecies continues, with proponents and skeptics engaging in lively discussions. Nostradamus' life and work are shrouded in mystery, adding to his enigmatic persona. Born into a family with Jewish roots, he grew up during religious and political turmoil. Amidst upheaval, he studied medicine, astrology, and the occult. In his mid-40s, Nostradamus gained notoriety for his prophetic abilities. His almanac's success led to the publication of Les Prophéties, cementing his legacy. The fascination with Nostradamus stems from the enigmatic nature of his prophecies and the role of interpretation. His quatrains, written in a mix of languages, are difficult to decipher. They are filled with symbolism and obscure references. Each generation reinterprets his quatrains, projecting their own fears and hopes. This highlights the subjective nature of interpretation and the power of belief. One of Nostradamus' most famous predictions revolves around the death of King Henry II of France. In the summer of 1559, Henry II, a monarch known for his love of jousting, participated in a grand tournament to celebrate the marriage of his daughter. The tournament, a lavish spectacle of chivalry and skill, attracted knights from across France and beyond, all eager to demonstrate their prowess before the king and his court. Among the participants was Gabriel, Comte de Montgomery, a young and ambitious nobleman known for his skill with a lance. The tournament reached its climax with a final joust between Henry II and Montgomery. The crowd watched with bated breath as the two knights, clad in heavy armour, charged towards each other on horseback, their lances lowered. The clash of wood against metal reverberated through the arena, and for a moment the outcome hung in the balance. However, fate, it seemed, had a cruel twist in store. Montgomery's lance, instead of striking Henry II's shield, veered upwards, its splintered end piercing the king's visor. The force of the impact drove shards of wood deep into the king's face, inflicting grievous wounds to his eye, throat, and temple. The crowd gasped in horror as Henry II, his face bloodied and contorted in pain, slumped in his saddle. The once festive atmosphere evaporated, replaced by a chilling silence as the gravity of the situation dawned on the onlookers. The king, gravely wounded, was carried from the arena, his fate hanging precariously in the balance. A prophecy fulfilled? Scrutinizing the evidence, Nostradamus in his quatrains had seemingly foreseen this tragic event. The young lion will overcome the older one on the field of combat in a single battle. He will pierce his eyes through a golden cage, 2 wounds made one, then he dies a cruel death. Montgomery, 6 years younger than the king, could be interpreted as the young lion. The golden cage was seen by some as a reference to Henry II's gilded visor. The quatrain's apparent accuracy in predicting Henry II's death has been cited as evidence of Nostradamus's prophetic abilities. The Great Fire of London, a city consumed by flames. In 1666, London, a bustling metropolis, was struck by a disaster forever etched in its history. The fire began on September 2nd, raging for 3 days, consuming everything in its path. It started in Thomas Farriner's bakery on Pudding Lane. The summer was unusually hot and dry, with densely packed wooden buildings. Fanned by a strong wind, the fire spread rapidly, engulfing entire streets. Firefighting efforts were hampered by inadequate equipment and lack of coordination. Churches, houses, and the Guildhall were reduced to smouldering ruins. Panic gripped the city as inhabitants fled to the Thames River for safety. Section 4. Nostradamus and the Blaze, a tenuous connection. In the aftermath of the Great Fire of London, some turned to the prophecies of Nostradamus. One quatrain seemed to resonate with the events of 1666. The blood of the just will commit a fault at London, burnt through lightning of 23's the 6. The line was interpreted as a reference to the year 1666. 23's the 6 could be deciphered as 20 times 3 plus 6 equals 66. The phrase, "the ancient lady will fall from her high place," was seen as a metaphor for London. However, the connection remains tenuous at best. The fire was not started by lightning. Instead, it was a spark in a bakery that ignited the inferno. Section 5. The French Revolution, a nation in upheaval. The French Revolution, a tumultuous period of radical social and political upheaval, shook France to its core in the late 18th century. Years of social inequality, economic hardship, and political oppression fueled growing discontent among the French populace. The French monarchy, led by King Louis XVI and his queen Marie Antoinette, seemed oblivious to the plight of their subjects, clinging to a lavish lifestyle and resisting calls for reform. In 1789, with France on the brink of bankruptcy and the populace teetering on the edge of revolt, the Estates General, a legislative body that had not met for over a century, was convened. The Estates General, composed of representatives from the clergy, the nobility, and the commoners, was supposed to address France's mounting problems. However, the deep-seated divisions between the privileged classes and the commoners quickly became apparent, hindering any attempts at meaningful reform. Frustrated by the intransigence of the monarchy and the privileged classes, representatives of the Third Estate, representing the vast majority of the French population, took the radical step of declaring themselves the National Assembly. This act of defiance marked a turning point in the revolution, signalling a shift in power from the monarchy to the people. On July 14, 1789, the Bastille, a symbol of royal authority and oppression, was stormed by a mob of angry Parisians. This event, now celebrated as Bastille Day, ignited a wave of popular uprisings across France, marking the beginning of the French Revolution. Section 6. Echoes of Revolution, interpreting Nostradamus's words. Some believe Nostradamus predicted the French Revolution with lines like, "From the enslaved populace, songs, chants and demands while princes and lords are held captive in prisons." The headless idiots could reference the guillotine, but interpretations remain speculative. Section 1. The Rise of Adolf Hitler. Interpreting the quatrains. A quatrain reads, "From the depths of the west of Europe, a young child will be born of poor people. He who by his tongue will seduce a great troop, his fame will increase towards the realm of the East." This could describe Hitler, but it's open to interpretation. Section 2. The ambiguity of Heister and Hitler. A quatrain mentions Hister, a term some link to Hitler. Beasts ferocious with hunger will cross the rivers. The greater part of the battlefield will be against Heister. The term Hister is ambiguous, leading to varied interpretations. Section 3. Charles de Gaulle, the monarch of France. A quatrain reads, "Hercules, king of Rome and of Anmark, with the surname of the chief of Triple Gaul, Italy, and the one of St. Mark to tremble, first monarch, renowned above all." This has been linked to Charles de Gaulle, but connections are speculative. Section 4. Deciphering the quatrain on de Gaulle. The line about Italy and St. Mark to tremble is perplexing, with no direct correlation to de Gaulle. Nostradamus's language is often metaphorical, making definitive interpretations challenging. Section 5. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the atomic scourge. A quatrain reads, "Near the gates and within 2 cities, there will be scourges the like of which was never seen. Famine within plague, people put out by steel, crying to the great immortal God for relief." This could describe the atomic bombings, but lacks specific identifiers. Section 6. The symbolism of scourges and cities. The term scourges suggests severe affliction, fitting the atomic bombings, but the prophecy's vagueness allows for broad interpretation. Section 1. Nostradamus in the modern age. Nostradamus's quatrains continue to captivate, amplified by the internet and modern anxieties. His prophecies provide a canvas for projecting contemporary fears and hopes. Section 2, 2024, a year of Nostradamus predictions. Predictions for 2024 include geopolitical tensions, natural disasters, and upheavals within institutions. Interpretations often draw on quatrains about a great king of the East or a scorched earth. Section 3, China on the world stage, Nostradamus and geopolitics. A quatrain reads, "From the East a powerful force shall rise, its might and ambition known to all. Kingdoms shall tremble at its growing size, and the world shall watch its rise and fall." This could describe China, but interpretations require caution. Section 4, The British Monarchy, Predictions of Turmoil. A quatrain reads, "The kingdom shall be shaken to its core, a king shall fall, his reign no more, a new ruler shall ascend the throne, but their time shall be short, their fate unknown." This could refer to the British monarchy, but remains speculative. Section 5, Nostradamus, and the climate interpreting environmental prophecies. Nostradamus's prophecies, often focused on wars, plagues, and political upheavals, also contain passages that can be interpreted as warnings about environmental disasters and climate change. These quatrains, often depicting a world ravaged by natural disasters, have resonated with modern concerns about the planet's health. One quatrain frequently cited in this context reads, "The earth shall tremble, the seas shall rise. Fire from the sky, a dreadful surprise, and the air shall choke, the sun shall hide, a time of sorrow, nowhere to hide." These lines, though devoid of specific dates or locations, evoke images of a world grappling with extreme weather events, rising sea levels, and atmospheric pollution, all consequences of climate change. Another quatrain states, "The sun shall scorch the parched-up earth, rivers shall dwindle, crops shall have no birth. From thirst and hunger the people shall cry, a time of famine beneath a burning sky." This passage resonates with the increasing frequency and intensity of droughts and heatwaves being experienced globally, impacting agricultural yields and leading to water scarcity. While skeptics argue that such interpretations are merely projections of modern anxieties onto ambiguous historical texts, proponents highlight the consistent theme of environmental upheaval in Nostradamus's writings. They believe that these quatrains, while not literal weather forecasts, serve as symbolic warnings about the potential consequences of humanity's unsustainable practices. Section 6, A Papal Prophecy, Death and Succession in the Vatican. Among the many predictions attributed to Nostradamus, those concerning the papacy hold a particular fascination. The Pope, as the head of the Catholic Church, holds a position of immense spiritual authority for millions worldwide, making any prophecy about papal succession a subject of intense interest and speculation. One quatrain often linked to the papacy reads, "From the depths of Rome a darkness shall arise, a shepherd struck down, his flock left in demise. A new voice shall rise, but its reign shall be brief, tested by fire, marked by sorrow and grief." This verse, shrouded in Nostradamus's characteristic ambiguity, has been interpreted as foretelling a period of turmoil within the Catholic Church. The shepherd struck down is often seen as a reference to the death or resignation of a pope. The new voice that rises could signify a successor, but their brief reign suggests a period of instability or challenges within the Church. The fire and sorrow mentioned could symbolize internal conflicts, external threats, or a combination of both. Given the advanced age of Pope Francis and his recent health issues, speculation about his successor has intensified. Some Nostradamus enthusiasts believe that the quatrain foreshadows a tumultuous period following Pope Francis's eventual departure, marked by internal divisions and external pressures on the Church. However, as always, these interpretations remain highly speculative, relying heavily on subjective interpretations of Nostradamus's cryptic verses. Section 7. The Shadow of World War III, Nostradamus and global conflict. The spectre of a third world war, a conflict with potentially catastrophic global consequences, has haunted humanity since the end of World War II. Nostradamus's prophecies, with their recurring themes of wars, plagues and societal collapse, have been scrutinized for clues about the possibility of such a conflict. One quatrain often cited in this context reads, "From the ashes of conflict a new terror shall rise, a mighty battle, where brother fights brother, skies, raining fire, the earth shall tremble and quake, a darkness descends from which few shall awake." This verse, with its imagery of widespread destruction and apocalyptic consequences, aligns with the potential horrors of a global nuclear conflict. Another quatrain states, "When the eagle and the dragon clash in the sky, the earth shall tremble and nations shall cry. A war to end all wars, a final bloody stand. From the ashes of this conflict, a new world is at hand." This passage, with its mention of an eagle often interpreted as the United States and a dragon representing China, has fueled speculation about a potential conflict between these superpowers. However, attributing specific geopolitical predictions to Nostradamus's quatrains is highly speculative. His prophecies are open to a wide range of interpretations, and it is impossible to say with certainty whether they refer to specific historical events or simply reflect broader anxieties about war and conflict that have persisted throughout human history. Section 8. Beyond 2024. A glimpse into the distant future. While much of the focus on Nostradamus's prophecies centers on near-future predictions, some interpreters believe that his quatrains offer glimpses into events that may unfold in the more distant future. These interpretations often involve deciphering Nostradamus's cryptic language and symbolism, attempting to piece together a timeline of potential future events. One recurring theme in these interpretations is the idea of a transformative period for humanity, marked by both challenges and advancements. Some believe that Nostradamus foresaw a time of great technological progress, with advancements in medicine, communication, and transportation transforming human civilization. However, these advancements may come at a cost, potentially leading to new forms of inequality, environmental degradation, and social unrest. Other interpretations focus on the possibility of major geopolitical shifts, with the rise and fall of empires, the emergence of new superpowers, and the potential for global conflicts reshaping the world order. Nostradamus's quatrains, with their references to kings and kingdoms, battles and conquests, have been interpreted as foreshadowing these power struggles. However, it is essential to approach these interpretations with a healthy dose of skepticism. Attributing specific predictions to events that may unfold centuries in the future is highly speculative, and Nostradamus's quatrains should not be treated as a roadmap to the future. Section 9. The allure of the unknown, Nostradamus and popular culture. Nostradamus's prophecies, steeped in mystery and open to endless interpretations, have captivated popular culture for centuries, from books and documentaries to films and television shows. Nostradamus's name and his cryptic quatrains have become synonymous with predictions of the future, often depicted as harbingers of doom and disaster. The enduring fascination with Nostradamus in popular culture can be attributed in part to the human desire for the unknown. In a world increasingly driven by data and information, the allure of mystery and the possibility of glimpsing into the future hold a powerful sway over the human imagination. Nostradamus's quatrains, shrouded in symbolism and allegory, provide fertile ground for speculation and creative interpretation. The entertainment industry has capitalized on this fascination, often portraying Nostradamus as a mystical figure with access to hidden knowledge. Films and television shows have depicted him as a prophet who predicted major historical events, from the French Revolution to the rise of Hitler, often with dramatic flair and embellishments. While these portrayals may make for compelling entertainment, they often perpetuate a sensationalized and inaccurate view of Nostradamus and his prophecies. It is crucial to remember that Nostradamus's quatrains are open to a wide range of interpretations and should not be taken as literal predictions of the future. Section 1. The Nostradamus Enigma a scholarly perspective. Scholars take a critical approach to Nostradamus' work. They analyze his cryptic verses and historical context. The ambiguity of his writing is a primary challenge. His quatrains are filled with symbolism and obscure references. Nostradamus' use of multiple languages complicates interpretation. There's a lack of historical evidence for many claims. His quatrains are often general and open to interpretation. The lack of specifics makes direct links difficult. Scholars caution against viewing prophecies through modern lenses. People project their fears and hopes onto ambiguous texts. The fascination with Nostradamus reflects a need to make sense of the world. Shaping prophecies to fit events. Critics argue Nostradamus' prophecies are often retrofitted to historical events. This involves stretching meanings or selectively highlighting passages. For example, the Great Fire of London quatrain is often cited. Interpreters link 20 by 3 plus 6 equals 66 to the year 1666. But the fire was started by an accidental spark, not lightning. Nostradamus' quatrains are linked to many historical events. These interpretations often rely on selective readings and overlook inconsistencies. Section 3. The allure of vague predictions. Finding meaning in ambiguity. The enduring appeal of Nostradamus' prophecies, despite their ambiguity and lack of specificity, lies partly in the human tendency to find meaning in the face of uncertainty. When confronted with complex or unpredictable situations, people often seek patterns, explanations, or predictions that can provide a sense of order or control. Nostradamus' cryptic verses, with their open-ended language and symbolic imagery, provide a blank canvas onto which individuals can project their own fears, hopes, and interpretations. The vagueness of Nostradamus' predictions allows for a wide range of interpretations, making it easier for individuals to find personal relevance in his words. For example, a quatrain that speaks of great floods and earthquakes could be interpreted as a prediction of specific natural disasters, a general warning about the dangers of climate change, or even a metaphorical representation of societal upheaval. This flexibility of interpretation contributes to the enduring popularity of Nostradamus' prophecies. As each generation faces its own unique set of challenges and anxieties, individuals can turn to Nostradamus' quatrains and find passages that seem to resonate with their own time and circumstances. The prophecies become a mirror, reflecting back the hopes and fears of those who seek meaning in their words. Section 4. Confirmation bias. Seeing what we want to see. Confirmation bias, the tendency to favor information that confirms pre-existing beliefs, plays a significant role in perpetuating the belief in Nostradamus' prophetic abilities. When individuals approach Nostradamus' quatrains with the belief that he possessed genuine foresight, they are more likely to interpret his words in a way that confirms this belief, even if alternative interpretations are equally valid or more plausible. For example, if someone believes that Nostradamus predicted the rise of Adolf Hitler, they may focus on quatrains that mention a powerful leader from the West, or a tyrant who will plunge the world into war, while overlooking passages that contradict this interpretation or that could apply to other historical figures. Confirmation bias can also lead individuals to discount or dismiss evidence that contradicts their beliefs. If a quatrain is interpreted as predicting a specific event that does not come to pass, believers may argue that the prophecy was misinterpreted, that the event was merely delayed, or that Nostradamus' warnings averted a greater catastrophe. This selective interpretation of evidence allows individuals to maintain their belief in Nostradamus' prophecies, even in the face of contradictory information. Confirmation bias creates a self-reinforcing cycle, where pre-existing beliefs shape the interpretation of new information, further solidifying those beliefs. Section 5. The limits of language Nostradamus' cryptic verse. One of the most significant challenges in interpreting Nostradamus' prophecies lies in the nature of his language. Nostradamus wrote in a deliberately cryptic and ambiguous style, employing symbolism, allegory, and wordplay to obscure his meaning. This deliberate obfuscation makes it difficult to determine his intended meaning. and allows for a wide range of interpretations. Nostradamus' use of symbolism is particularly problematic. He often employed astrological symbols, mythological figures, and historical allusions, the meanings of which can be open to interpretation. For example, the eagle in one quatrain might represent the United States, the Roman Empire, or simply a symbol of power or ambition, depending on the context. Furthermore, Nostradamus' use of allegory, where abstract ideas are represented through concrete images or stories, adds another layer of complexity. A quatrain that speaks of a great flood might refer to a literal flood, a metaphorical representation of social upheaval, or a spiritual cleansing, depending on the interpretation. The ambiguity of Nostradamus' language makes it impossible to definitively prove or disprove any particular interpretation. His quatrains become a Rorschach test, with each reader projecting their own understanding and biases onto the text. Section 6. Nostradamus and the burden of proof. In assessing the validity of Nostradamus' prophecies, it is essential to consider the burden of proof. Those who claim that Nostradamus possessed genuine prophetic abilities bear the responsibility of providing compelling evidence to support their claims. This evidence should be based on a rigorous analysis of Nostradamus' writings, taking into account the historical context, the complexities of his language, and the potential for bias in interpretation. Simply highlighting passages from Nostradamus' quatrains that seem to align with historical events is not sufficient to establish his prophetic abilities. As previously discussed, the vagueness of his language, the tendency for interpretations to be retrofitted to events, and the role of confirmation bias all cast doubt on the reliability of such interpretations. To meet the burden of proof, proponents of Nostradamus' prophecies would need to demonstrate a consistent and statistically significant correlation between his predictions and historical events. This would involve identifying specific, testable predictions in Nostradamus' writings and comparing them to the historical record. Furthermore, these predictions should be specific enough to rule out alternative explanations or chance occurrences. To date, no such rigorous analysis has convincingly demonstrated the accuracy of Nostradamus' prophecies. While his quatrains may provide an intriguing glimpse into the anxieties and beliefs of his time, they should not be treated as a reliable source of predictions about the future. Section 7. Separating the seer from the speculation. The enduring fascination with Nostradamus often overshadows the historical figure himself. Michel de Nostradamus was a complex individual living in a turbulent era, and his writings reflect the anxieties, beliefs, and intellectual currents of his time. To understand Nostradamus' legacy, it is essential to separate the historical figure from the layers of speculation and interpretation that have accumulated around him over the centuries. Nostradamus was a man of many talents. He trained as a physician and apothecary, contributing to the fight against the plague that ravaged Europe during his lifetime. He was also a scholar, well versed in astrology, history, and classical literature. His writings, including his famous Les Prophéties, reflect this breadth of knowledge and his deep interest in understanding the forces shaping his world. While Nostradamus' prophecies have garnered him enduring fame, it is important to remember that he was a product of his time. His worldview was shaped by the religious and political upheavals of the 16th century, a time of war, plague, and religious conflict. His writings reflect the anxieties and uncertainties of this era, and his prophecies, whether intentionally or not, provided a sense of order and predictability in a world seemingly on the brink of chaos. Section 8. The enduring legacy, Nostradamus and the human condition. Despite the skepticism surrounding his prophetic abilities, Nostradamus' legacy continues to resonate in the 21st century. His quatrains, shrouded in mystery and open to endless interpretations, offer a unique window into the human desire to make sense of a complex and often unpredictable world. The enduring fascination with Nostradamus reveals something profound about the human condition: our need for hope, our fear of the unknown, and our relentless search for meaning in the face of uncertainty. Nostradamus' prophecies, whether intentionally or not, tap into our primal fears. His quatrains are replete with imagery of war, plague, natural disasters and societal collapse, events that have haunted humanity throughout history. These prophecies offer a stark reminder of the fragility of human civilization and the ever-present potential for chaos and destruction. Yet amidst the prophecies of doom and gloom, there are also glimmers of hope. Nostradamus' writings speak of periods of peace and prosperity, of great leaders who will usher in a new era, and of technological advancements that will transform human society. Section 9. Nostradamus in the 21st Century. A Critical Lens. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, it is more important than ever to approach prophecies and predictions with a critical and discerning eye. The rise of social media, the proliferation of misinformation, and the increasing polarization of society have created an environment where unsubstantiated claims and fear-mongering can spread rapidly. It is crucial to remember that Nostradamus' quatrains do not offer a clear or definitive roadmap to the future. Instead, they are a product of their time, reflecting the anxieties, beliefs, and knowledge of a 16th century physician and scholar. Rather than seeking literal predictions in Nostradamus' writings, we should view them as a reflection of the enduring human struggle to make sense of the world around us. His prophecies, with their themes of war, peace, disaster, and renewal, offer a timeless reminder of the cyclical nature of history and the importance of approaching the future with both caution and hope. Nostradamus and the human need for meaning. The fascination with Nostradamus transcends mere historical curiosity. His cryptic quatrains tap into the human search for meaning amidst uncertainty. Whether seen as a prophet or a product of his time, his impact is undeniable. Societies have turned to his words during wars, plagues, and upheavals. Interpreting his quatrains speaks to our desire for order in chaos. His ambiguous language resonates with diverse audiences across generations. Nostradamus' legacy lies in sparking imagination and debate, reflecting our need for meaning. Having said that, what, according to some, does 2025 have in store for us? In the ancient city of Jerusalem, nestled among the rolling hills and ancient mountains, a sudden and violent earthquake shattered the tranquil night. The ground trembled and shook, reducing parts of the city and its historic sites to rubble. The sacred places of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, standing for centuries, bore witness to the destructive force, reminiscent of the many earthquakes that had scarred this region throughout history. Scholars recalled the ominous prophecies of Nostradamus, who had spoken of a great quake affecting a new city in the west, a term many believed referred to America. As Jerusalem reeled from the catastrophe halfway across the world, the great Midwest flood of 2025 was unfolding. Historic floods and wildfires ravaged the land, driven by the relentless rise in global temperatures. Nostradamus' words seemed to echo through the chaos. Prolonged droughts followed by devastating floods. The heartland of America, from Kansas to Wisconsin, faced an imminent deluge, urging its inhabitants to stay vigilant and ready to flee as the waters rose. Meanwhile, on the global stage, the drums of war beat louder. Tensions between great powers reached a boiling point. Nostradamus had foretold a 7-month great war with massive loss of life, and the world watched as conflicts brewed. The invasion of Ukraine by Russia and the looming threat of China's aggression towards Taiwan threatened to ignite a worldwide conflict. Amidst this turmoil, Russia and China's military alliance grew stronger, conducting extensive drills as a show of force and solidarity against the United States. The invasion of Ukraine by Russia and the looming threat of China's aggression towards Taiwan threatened to ignite a worldwide conflict. Amidst this turmoil, Russia and China's military alliance grew stronger, conducting extensive drills as a show of force and solidarity against the United States. For 2026, in the vast expanse of space, a massive asteroid larger than the iconic Empire State Building hurtled towards Earth. Dubbed 388945 2008 TZ3, the colossal rock the size of the Eiffel Tower was on a trajectory that would bring it within 3.5 million miles of our planet. While this distance seemed vast, in the cosmic scale, it was alarmingly close. NASA flagged it as a significant near-Earth object, highlighting the potential hazard it posed. The asteroid's approach sparked concern among experts. Elon Musk's ominous words echoed in the minds of many. A big rock will hit Earth eventually, and we currently have no defense. As the asteroid sped past Earth at over 18,000 miles per hour, humanity breathed a collective sigh of relief, but the warning was clear. We were unprepared for what could come next. Amidst the celestial threats on Earth, a historic alliance was forming. The United States and Russia, despite their fraught history and current tensions, announced a new partnership. Nostradamus' ancient prophecy of a great war loomed large in the collective consciousness, but this unexpected alliance offered a glimmer of hope. Declaring their friendship to have no limits, the two superpowers planned to collaborate on crucial issues like space exploration, climate change, artificial intelligence, and internet governance. They stood united on key geopolitical fronts, opposing NATO expansion and the AUKUS alliance, while supporting each other's strategic interests in Ukraine and Taiwan. This newfound cooperation aimed to avert the dreaded prophecy and navigate the complex global landscape. As nations grappled with alliances and cosmic threats, a new danger emerged from the deserts. A relentless sandstorm, foretold by Nostradamus to engulf the Earth, swept across the Middle East. The towering Burj Khalifa, a symbol of human achievement, vanished behind a thick veil of grey dust. Countries like Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia and the UAE were hit hardest, with thousands flocking to hospitals with respiratory issues. Experts warned that climate change was making such storms more frequent and severe, spreading fine dust particles that posed serious health risks. The World Meteorological Organization sounded the alarm about the global implications of these airborne hazards, linking them to respiratory disorders and the spread of toxins. The sands of time seemed to carry the weight of Nostradamus' predictions as the world faced the dual threats of natural disasters and geopolitical turmoil. In the chilly November of 2027, New York City plunged into an eerie darkness. From Ontario to Pennsylvania, an unexpected blackout gripped the metropolis, casting a shadow over Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens and Brooklyn. For a day and night, some areas even longer, the city was shrouded in darkness. Whispers of a cyber attack spread quickly, though no one knew for certain what triggered the blackout. In these tense times, fear of a nuclear attack by China loomed large, especially with America and Russia locked in an alliance against Beijing's military might. As power gradually returned, a sense of foreboding remained, knowing that more extensive and prolonged outages were predicted for the 2030s, with a terrifying 3 days of darkness foreseen in 2039, promising chaos and death for the unwary. Meanwhile, humanity stood on the brink of a technological revolution. By July 2027, scientists had achieved a marvel: the creation of robots so lifelike, so indistinguishable from humans, they possessed self-awareness. These advanced AI beings, with their uncanny resemblance to people and their independent thought, were set to revolutionize space exploration. They would populate space stations, lunar bases and Martian colonies, requiring only energy, not food, to sustain themselves. This breakthrough heralded a new era in AI, transforming what was once science fiction into reality. As the world grappled with these technological and geopolitical shifts, the heavens prepared to put on a spectacular show. In February 2029, a celestial event of unprecedented brightness was set to occur, the supernova known as the blue star Kachina. This event, linked to ancient Hopi prophecy, would illuminate the northern hemisphere, visible to millions, if not billions, of people. The supernova would brighten rapidly, signaling what many believed to be apocalyptic times. As the blue star exploded into brilliance, it would serve as a cosmic reminder of the volatile and ever-changing universe, mirroring the tumultuous events unfolding on Earth. Section 5. The Nostradamus Legacy, a mirror reflecting human hopes and fears. Ultimately, the legacy of Nostradamus transcends the debate about the accuracy of his prophecies. His writings, regardless of whether they are viewed as genuine predictions, astrological musings, or simply creative expressions of his time, offer a fascinating glimpse into the human psyche and our enduring fascination with the unknown. Nostradamus' prophecies, with their themes of war and peace, disaster and renewal, hope and despair, reflect the full spectrum of human experience. They remind us of the cyclical nature of history, the fragility of civilization, and the ever-present potential for both progress and destruction. In a world grappling with unprecedented challenges, climate change, geopolitical tensions, social unrest, and technological disruption, Nostradamus' prophecies serve as a timeless reminder of the importance of critical thinking, the dangers of confirmation bias, and the need to approach the future with both caution and hope. His enduring legacy lies not in providing definitive answers, but in encouraging us to ask questions, to challenge assumptions, and to engage in meaningful dialogue about the forces shaping our world.